What if I told you that one of the most heavily guarded places in Crimea, a luxurious guest house said to be reserved for Russia's most powerful man, Vladimir Putin, just came under a devastating drone attack? That the sky above his private retreat lit up like a war zone, with explosions shaking the coastline and flames consuming the mansion once considered untouchable. Tonight, we're breaking down the full story behind this unbelievable event, how Ukraine's precision drones managed to reach deep into one of Russia's most secure regions, what really happened inside that elite guest house during those terrifying moments, and why this single strike could change everything about the future of modern warfare. Stay tuned, because what you're about to see will leave you speechless. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Strike Point Media. Please subscribe and like my videos. Today, we're diving into one of the most shocking developments of the war, the massive drone attack on what appears to be Foros Sanatorium and its adjacent state guest house complex associated with Vladimir Putin and Russia's elite. The scale, location, implications, and aftermath are all staggering. You won't believe what happened next. Let's get into the full review. The exterior. The target area lies in the southern coast of Crimea, the resort town of Foros, a scenic locale overlooking the Black Sea. According to multiple reports, the attack happened around 7:30 p.m. Moscow time, when drones, reportedly armed with high-explosive warheads, struck the resort complex and nearby facilities. Official statements from the Russian appointed head of Crimea say that at least 3 people were killed and about 15 or more injured. The resort is known to be adjacent to or within the grounds of 4 state dachas, country homes for Russia's political elite. From the outside, the complex appears well fortified in a vacation setting, but with a strong symbolic and strategic connection. The fact that the drones even penetrated the defenses signals something significant. One image in the media shows a school building near by also bearing damage, and falling drone debris sparking grass fires near Yalta. For a video review camera, when you pan the outside, you'd see the lush resort environment, the nearby elite housing, and then the signs of attack: scorch marks, debris, damaged facades, and smoke clouds. The contrast of a luxury resort meeting military action gives a chilling visual. It's the safe retreat of the elite, turned into a war's own backdrop in minutes. Interior. Now moving inside the complex, this is where it gets particularly interesting, and where the why this matters becomes clearer. The Foros Resort has a history of hosting top Russian figures, and indeed the complex nearby is associated with the country, houses of Russia's upper echelons, some used by Putin himself, according to independent reporting. Inside, you'd expect spacious halls, elegantly furnished rooms, banquet or meeting rooms, decorative interiors befitting high-level VIP use, and security facilities integrated behind the scenes. The interior spaces apparently include a restaurant, the Foros Hall restaurant, which, on the evening of the attack, was listed as closed for special service, hinting that very important guests were present. So imagine walking into the lobby: marbled floors, polished wood panels, discreet security presence, maybe luxury furnishings, large windows overlooking the sea. Then in one of the interior suites, high-ranking officials or guests were reportedly staying. The attack appears to have aimed at such high-value targets rather than generic civilian infrastructure. The interior damage, though less documented in public sources, reportedly includes damage to service buildings on the resort grounds and off-site debris hitting a school building. In a video review, you'd show first the normal interior scenes of the resort lounges, corridors, guest rooms, security checkpoints. Then you'd show the aftermath shots: broken glass, interior damage, perhaps blast effects in service rooms. The contrast is powerful. The fact that drones were able to reach interior spaces, or at least hit the premises, raises questions about the security shielding, early warning systems, the ability of the defenders to intercept the strike before damage. For a narrative reviewer, this interior scene is the heart of the story. Here's where the elite thought they were safe, and yet this strike got in. It forces the viewer to confront the vulnerability of what was assumed to be a secure retreat. It also reflects the sophistication of the attacking drones. They didn't just strike random infrastructure. They pinpointed a location with elite presence, doing high-profile damage. That interior sequence is long because it reveals the human dimension: guests interrupted, staff scrambling, damage to spaces usually reserved for comfort now scarred by war, and the symbolism is heavy, the high-end interior of power meeting the destructiveness of unmanned weapons. The visuals speak louder than words. Luxury plus war. In the review, you'd emphasize how the interior damage underscores the message of reach, that even remote retreat compounds can't assume immunity. And you'd use that to frame a larger point. What this means about the changing nature of conflict, about the erosion of safe zones for the elite, and the psychological impact of attacking places once considered sanctuaries. It's not just damage to a building. It's an assault on the image of invulnerability. As you walk through the interior, you'd pause to reflect on the clutter of disaster. Shattered decorative features, disrupted hospitality spaces, a stark reminder that war touches every layer of society. In short, inside the retreat you see comfort invaded. You see behind the walls of privilege the same ruthless logic of war. Performance, i.e., how the attack unfolded and the results. From the details available, the attack appears to have been carried out by drones armed with high-explosive warheads. Authorities say the attack struck the resort grounds at about 19:30 local time, taking advantage of the evening hours when lighting and oversight might be reduced. The reported casualty toll: at least 3 people killed, multiple others injured, up to 16 or so in some reports. The damage is not just superficial facilities. A school building nearby, multiple non-residential structures were hit. The performance of the strike demonstrates several key things. 1. Penetration of a defended zone. 2. Precision targeting of a high-value location. 3. Psychological effect of hitting a facility with political and symbolic weight. As a review, you'd highlight: the timing suggests reconnaissance and planning. The modality drones with high explosive warheads suggests a shift from purely missile/aircraft strikes to more agile drone capability. The target selection underscores strategic intent, not merely random infrastructure. You would also note that Russia reported shooting down multiple drones over the area, so the performance of the strike is both military and symbolic. It worked enough to cause casualties, cause damage, send a message. For a viewer, capturing the before and after visuals showing how the strike unfolded and its outcome drives home the impact. And you'd also caution: while reports vary and full independent verification is pending, the weight of reporting suggests this was a major strike on a major target rather than a minor skirmish. Safety features in the sense of the complex, and by extension how the attack revealed gaps. In reviewing the retreat/resort/hospitality compound, one would expect robust safety and security features: perimeter fences, restricted airspace, anti-drone defense, early warning systems, evacuation protocols, blast mitigation design, structural reinforcement of guest homes, perhaps underground safe shelters or bunkers given its elite use. Yet the strike succeeded, which implies that the existing safety features were insufficient or circumvented. In the video review, you talk about what you can glean. The resort's luxury facade masks a complex that should be secure, but this event highlights the gap. You might discuss questions such as, were there effective drone detection and interception systems? Were the guest areas sufficiently hardened against high-explosive drone strikes? Was the air defense perimeter compromised? What about evacuation plans for guests in case of incoming threats? For viewers, this becomes a cautionary tale. Even facilities built for VIP safety may not anticipate the evolving capabilities of drone warfare. So you'd say, the safety features of this compound, once taken for granted, are now shown to be vulnerable, and that has implications for other similar sites worldwide. From a review standpoint, the key takeaway is that in modern conflict, the safety features are only as good as your ability to adapt. Once an adversary deploys drones with precision and timing, the usual assumptions may fail. Unique selling points USP of the story/location. Why is this story so compelling, unique, and worth reviewing? First, the target is a resort linked with Putin and Russia's elite. That alone gives it a high-profile dimension. The complex is not just a holiday site, but symbolic of elite privilege, of entrenched power, of the idea of safe havens for those at the top. Second, the use of drones, not just missiles, shows the changing nature of warfare. This strike is part of a broader trend, drones becoming central to strategic strikes, even against heavily defended targets. Third, the surprise element, a luxury retreat, deep in what was considered a secure area, being attacked. That reversal of expectations gives the story drama and narrative weight. Fourth, the message: this is not just physical destruction, it is psychological. If your guest house for high-ranking officials can be hit, then no place is entirely safe. That adds a broader geopolitical vibe. Fifth, the visual contrast: tranquil resort, scenic coast, meeting the roar of explosion and the wreckage of war. For a video, that visual dichotomy itself becomes a strong selling point. In the review, you would emphasize the USP are the elite target, the drone methodology, the moral/signaling weight, the spectrum from luxury to damage, and the implications for future high-value targeting. So when you present this video, you'd say, this is more than a news item, this is a case study of asymmetric attack, high-end target vulnerability, and strategic messaging, price or cost. Metaphorically, in traditional product reviews, you talk price, here we adapt. What was the cost of this operation for both sides? On the attacker side, executing such a strike likely required significant intelligence, drone assets, launch platforms, timing, risk of interception. Although we don't know exact figures, the cost is non-trivial. On the defender side, the cost is measured in lives lost, at least 3, injuries, damaged infrastructure, resort facilities, school, etc. Damage to image and sense of invulnerability. For Russia's side, the cost includes a hit to morale, a hit to the perception of elite safe zones, potentially increased threat perception domestically among elites, and the need to upgrade defense spending. For the audience, you'd quantify at least 3 dead, about 16 injured reported, damage to multiple structures, including luxury resort facilities and a nearby school, and on a more intangible level, cost to prestige. So you'd frame, the price paid here goes beyond dollars, it is reputation, safety, strategic calculus. For the attacker, the investment in drone capability paid off heavily in signaling. For the defender, the savings from not reinforcing this site sufficiently appear to have backfired. For our review, we'd say, if you were metaphorically purchasing safe retreat and invulnerability, the cost turned out to be much higher than expected. We could also talk about what might upgrades cost. Future reinforcements of elite safe zones will cost more now in money and effort. So in the script you say, here's the price tag of being vulnerable, tangible, and intangible. Conclusion, to wrap up, this is a stark lesson in modern conflict dynamics. A resort once assumed to be safe, tied to the highest levels of power, was brought into the spotlight of drone warfare. The strike on Foros and the associated guest house complex sends a clear message: no location is entirely beyond reach. For our channel viewers, the key takeaway is that the world of security, prestige, and luxury is intersecting increasingly with unmanned weapons, precision strikes, and strategic messaging. For those protecting high-value locations, the implications are serious. You must upgrade drone defenses, rethink threat models, and understand that adversaries now reach farther, faster, cheaper. For those watching the war, this event underscores change. The nature of safe zones is evolving, and the boundaries of elite privilege are showing cracks. As always, thanks for watching. Subscribe and like if you found this breakdown useful, and drop a comment below. What do you think this attack means for future Hive? You targeting? I'll see you in the next video.